Hello everyone. Good evening and good morning and good now and good every moment. Thank you everybody joining. Now we are here to do our lesson tonight. Today is the lesson number 2 of the term number 3, continuation of the teachings on the Uttaratantra 7 Vajra points. Before we start, let's do the refuge and for immeasurable thoughtfully with deep appreciation of the refuge and great sense of sanity and blessings that we are all possessor of. Acknowledge that as we do the refuge and renew your commitment to practice loving kindness in all situation and compassion. When we become very loving to others, we get to know that more of their suffering than we could immediately benefit them. So therefore we need to have even deeper compassion. If we find ourselves showing compassion, then judgment, then punitive measure, then reaction, then we have joyfulness. We have great reason to be really joyful because otherwise our compassion can become fatigued and then become resentment and then sad and a waste of time. So joyfulness only exists if you practice the first 2 immeasurables. And then still doesn't mean you will fix the world, but even you can't help the nearest and dearest, you have equanimous. You will be able to live like a log, piece of log. Don't try to be too fixer of people's problems. Shantideva says, "Let me be a log." Yeah, try not to be the fixer of all the problems. If we can, we will. But even then, it's good, important not to get attached to our accomplishment. If we have any, it's not truly our accomplishment anyway. Even if our failure, it doesn't really matter. You have to still have equanimity with your failure. And how long can you fail? Not all the time, hopefully. If you perfect failure, it's pretty good. I think you have to perfect the failure. Accept total disaster. Very good. That's the nature of existence. So it can't get wrong. So these four immeasurables, profound meditation. So let's do that before we do the teaching. Thank you, everybody. Oyenda Buddha Dhamma Asanga Refuge Dharma by virtue Ajivendala Ajare Buddha Vajra and Buddha Dhamma Asanga Refuge enlightenment by virtue Ajivendala Ajare Buddha Vajra and Buddha Dhamma Asanga Refuge enlightenment by virtue Ajivendala Ajare Buddha Vajra. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they know a powerful happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, those near and far. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they know a powerful happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, those near and far. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never part from the happiness that no suffering. May they dwell equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far, according to the intelligence and predisposition of the Yajanda Dharma, agree and common vehicles. So, of the many different vehicles, this is the great vehicle, Mahayana teachings on Buddha nature, subject of the Uttaratantra. Uttaratantra really means supreme continuum, which means our mental continuum in its intrinsic nature is light and good and luminous, no different from the Buddha nature itself. But it's temporarily covered in the obscuration, so therefore we need to claim that by learning how to cultivate the bodhicitta. So this Uttaratantra Shastra has 7 subjects and what I call 7 Vajra points, Durjin e Dun. And we are currently discussing the 6th point, which is the qualities of enlightened one. Qualities of one who has realized Buddha nature, awakened the Buddha nature. And the qualities of the enlightened one has 2, the qualities of freedom and quality of maturation. And qualities of freedom are the enlightened one who has realized Buddha nature. The enlightened one has the 32 qualities of freedom and 32 qualities of maturation. The first 32 qualities of freedom are constituted of 10 powers, 4 in fearlessness, and 18 unmixed features. So these are the cause of attaining Dharmakaya. And then the qualities of maturations are the through which the enlightened one, through Rupakaya, through the Nirmanakaya and Sambhogakaya, they come and manifest, ripen other sentient beings. Quality of maturation is the effect of the enlightened one. This is amazing. If it wasn't the quality of enlightened ones, we wouldn't have this common bond with the Dharma. It is the enlightenment of the Buddha under the Bodhi tree has these amazing, incredible, unfathomable consequences of us having the Dharma in this extreme end of 21st century. When people are so lost in materialism, technology, and things, yet we realize how precious, among all precious things, the Dharma is. And the fact that we are able to do this, we are matured. We are ripened. We are unfolding because of the Buddha's attainment of these 64 qualities, 32 of freedom, 32 of maturation. Of these first 32 qualities of freedom, we were looking in detail what the 10 powers are and what the 4 fearlessness are. So that's the first 14 we covered last week. Today we're going to cover the 18 unmixed features in detail. Okay, so I hope you all got the hand out there. So these 18 unmixed features are unmixed feature means distinctive Yeah, sometimes people translate these distinctive qualities. These qualities are not comparable to the qualities of arhats or bodhisattvas. These are distinctive qualities of the fully enlightened one only. Okay, and these 18 qualities, the number is 18. The 18 is made out of 3. The first six of the 18 qualities are to do with conduct of the Buddha, and then other 6, the second 6 are to do with the realizations, and then last 6 are to do with 2, 3 with activities, 3 with the wisdom. So that's why we have put those in brackets for you. But the root text doesn't give you these things, of course. So anyway, so verse number 251, the Lord has neither mistake. So this refers to the distinctive characteristics of Buddha's conduct. Yeah. Firstly, Lord has neither mistake. This refers to the mistake of physical mistakes. Buddha never do anything physically wrong or cause harm to others. Buddha never do that. Whereas ordinary people do that all the time. They just did the wrong stuff. And even arhats are not always meticulous. Even arhats make a lot of mistakes. But the Buddha never makes a mistake. So this is the immaculate qualities of Buddha's physical behavior. Makes no noisy chatter means Buddha never says anything that is senseless, useless, untimely, improper, and anything like that. So they never have to withdraw what they said. If the Buddha said anything, it's get written in the ears and the minds and carved in the rocks and in the palm leaves, in all the written in gold, because everything Buddha said is so true, so true. There is never a kind of noisy chatter or senseless things what Buddha said. Even if the story Buddha tells, the story has a lot of meanings. There's an external meaning, inner meaning, and a secret meaning, interpretive meaning, and a definite meaning. So all of them, what Buddha said must be written. Every words of the Buddha must be recorded in the memory of the arhats. We must thank the arhats, the Shravakas and arhats, for their heard. We must be thankful to Ananda. We must be thankful to Upali. We must be thankful to Mahakashapa. They are the one who heard every word of the Buddha and recorded in their memory through meditation, discipline. They rose early, they lived on alms, they developed ascetic practices, all so that they can forget not. Everything what the Buddha said that was completely true. Makes no noisy chatter. So these are the qualities of Buddha's physical conduct, never made mistake. Buddha's verbal conduct, never make mistakes. And his mindfulness is unimpaired. So it means Buddha's mind is never forget anything. He can remember as far as thousands of lifetimes before. Who, where, what they did this to deserve this, what they did to have this. Buddha will know everything. He doesn't tell what's not true. He knows the fact, relatively speaking. So because he never forgets anything. His mindful is unimpaired, So, whereas we forget a lot of time, we take notes, we put passport, we put passcode, we forget the passcode, and we forget all the time. We put passcode for the sake of another passcode. We get. Buddha remember everything, never impaired. So this is why enlightened one is so has these immeasurable qualities, and he has neither a mind that is not equally abiding. Yeah, Buddha's mind is behaviorally speaking always in meditation. It doesn't mean when he's sitting quietly he's meditating, when he's listening or he's walking or he's washing he's not meditating. No, he's always in the equally abiding blissful state of meditative equanimity. There's never a time Buddha is not in meditation. There's never a time that Buddha is not teaching. There's never a time that Buddha is not benefiting sentient beings. It's just question is, it's like there's never a time the sun is not shining. Its question is where our tree is located. If a tree is located in the southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere, but then they have no sun now. But some places there is sun because the sun is always shining. So therefore, Buddha is always in meditative equanimity. He's never not in meditative. No, he engages in dualistic discrimination. Buddha does not engage in these thoughts, in these concepts, and does he do that? What do you think about that? He does not need this inner chatter. He does not engages the inner chatter and dualistic conception. This fifth one is dualistic discrimination. Because if you split all the hairs right there, you get so confused, So Buddha does not engage in that. And without analysis, there is no possession of equanimity. So Buddha is always engaged in very careful and thorough analysis, that analysis through which they gain the equanimity. So Buddha's equanimity is always possessed. He never loses the equanimity because he has done careful, thorough investigation, scrutiny so many times. So these first six are the distinctive qualities of Buddha's conduct. Okay? And then number 7 to 12 are realizations, Buddha's realization. Remember, we may think about it, we may conceptually know about it, but we don't have realization. Buddha has unimpaired aspiration. These are the aspiration, always aspiring to benefit sentient beings. Never give up on sentient beings. Never get discouraged by difficulties. His aspiration is relentless. His realization, his aspiration, like we talk about in bodhicitta, we talk about wishing bodhicitta. His wishing bodhicitta are always there, no matter how difficult some sentient beings are. He never give up on them. He always aspire to come around and reconcile, work, and benefit them next time. So Buddha is always, his aspiration never impairs. Ordinary people's aspiration, very short-lived, very strong motivation, and all of a sudden, run out of steam. All of a sudden, no engine, no energy, no motivation, because they run out of steam. So Buddha's aspiration is incessant, unimpaired. And so is his diligence. His diligence to work for the sake of sentient beings. We talked about various types of diligence, this consistent diligence, genuine diligence, resilience that is as you are armored. Buddha's diligence is never impairable, nor is his mindfulness, nor is his discriminating awareness, nor is his wisdom eye. This wisdom eye means Buddhas can perceive your past as well as your future, as well as what does this experience come as a result of doing what, and therefore he is able to see the law, cause and effect of things, wisdom eye, and his wisdom eye is never impaired, nor is perfect liberation. So Buddha has, these are the six realization qualities. So this kind of realization only Buddha has. Others have very similar realizations of aspiration, of mindfulness, but never the distinctive realizations of these sixfold of the Buddha. So those are the six realizations. Then his activities. His activities are probed by primordial wisdom. So 13 to 15 refers to his activities. What are the activities? His physical activities, his verbal activities, his mental activities, his physical deeds, his verbal sayings, his mental thoughts. So these are the activities refers to the, so the 13, 14, and 15 refers to his physical, holy, we call enlightened physical activities, enlightened verbal speech, enlightened mental thoughts. Every, teachings that we have is Buddha's activity. These are all Buddha's activity. Of course, this will be elaborated into the 7th point, Vajra point more. So those are and are probed by primordial wisdom, meaning each of Buddha's physical activities or verbal activities or mental activity are probed, meaning tested and examined and carefully chosen by primordial wisdom. Buddha doesn't do anything with carefully researched, checked, examined, and then it is always following the wisdom discerning mind, and then execute any physical, verbal, and emotional activities of the Buddha. So those are the three wisdoms to do with the three activities. And then the three is the wisdoms, 16 to 18, 16, 17, 18, and the wisdom is not obscured concerning time. So this means Buddha's wisdom which probes about appropriateness of now, appropriateness of future, appropriateness of what was done. So Buddha has the wisdom concerning all past, present, and future times. So concerning time means three: past, present, and future. Buddha could see what would be happening in future if you did this now. He can see the past, present, and future relationships with wisdom. Like we don't have wisdom of what will become future. But Buddha and those who are enlightened, they actually have the wisdom to see what will be the consequence of this in the future, what was this the result of the past, and what is the things in the present. So Buddha's wisdom is not obscured concerning the appropriateness of when to do, how to do, what to do. And so they are always timely. Buddha's teachings are never not timely, teachings are always timely. So these teachings that we are listening to are always timely for us. It could then, maybe 5 years ago, we probably would have not listened to these teachings. So it's meant to be this time that we need to hear this, and this is the very message, the letter the Buddha sent to you. So this is the very well-timed teaching of the Buddha. And you, when you're very receptive, you will blossom like the sunflower when the sun shines. Why? Because only when the sun shines, the sunflower blossoms. You will blossom only when the teaching is timely. Yeah, so that's referring to the wisdoms of appropriateness of past, present, and future. These 18 features consisting of the 6 conducts, 6 realizations, 3 activities, 3 wisdoms. So those are the breakdown of the 18 distinctive qualities, unmixed features, and others, because others meaning there are many other distinctive qualities Buddha. For instance, the others in the commentary says that Buddha, even though Buddha is wearing robe like this, it says that there's always like 4 fingers gap between the Buddha's body and the cloth. The cloth never touches the Buddha's body. So the cloth that Buddha wears never gets soiled. Not because they don't touch the Buddha's body, but Buddha's body doesn't ooze any bodily odor. Buddha doesn't need hand sanitizer. Come on. You never can catch COVID from the Buddha. Buddha is, so these are distinctive qualities. He can touch the leper. He can touch the leper with everybody avoid, but he will not be affected or infected by this. So even the fire comes, Buddha will never get burned by the fire. Buddha will walk on the water. The Buddha will float in the water. There are incredible, unimaginable qualities, which it says these 18 features and others constitute the unmixed, meaning distinctive qualities of the teacher, the teacher, the Buddha. Okay, the teacher was the Buddha. Okay, don't mistake with human teacher. Okay, particularly people like us, don't ever think that we have any of this, not even the single iota. Buddha's not a single hair of the Buddha's quality ordinary teacher have. So don't bring down the Buddha's quality as if people will have. And then when you don't see them, don't get disappointed. Don't bring the God down to the level of the devil, they call it. Don't demote the God to the devil. So these are qualities of distinct Buddha. So these teachers refer to the Buddha. Buddha is the teacher. The Dharma is the teaching. And the teaching is the medicine. So that's why. So this is very important for Buddhists to know the qualities of the gem, Buddha gem. Buddha gem. These are the 18 distinctive qualities. So that's the 18. That is identifying what are the 18 distinctive qualities, unmixed features. Then now it goes to explain the function or activities of these 18 features. And so this is fairly self-explanatory because we have gone through this few times. The sage has no delusion. So this is talking about the explaining Buddha does not make mistake, noisy chatter, forgetfulness, mental agitation, idea of separability, and indifferent equanimity. So it's actually explaining those 18 things we went through as they are listed. His aspiration, diligence, mindfulness, utterly pure and unstained, discriminated wisdom, complete release, and his primordial wisdom of liberation, seeing all fields of the knowledge do not suffer any impairment. So those are the first 12, and his then those are first 12, yeah, and then his activities. His activities, the three activities as we were referring to the physical, verbal activities. We call physical enlightened activities, verbal enlightened activities, and mental enlightened activities are probed by primordial wisdom and engage accordingly. There's never a thing the Buddha says or does that are not appropriate. It is completely well timed in terms of timing, in terms of who to, in terms of where, in terms of how much. Sometimes, the sutra is very repeating. If you read a sutra, it's very repetitive. But Buddha is not repeating because he forgot or he's trying to remind. He's repeating so that it could to impact on the mind. People who listens actually remember them clearly. So he's doing it so that lazy people do not read again. So he add another phrase, and then the same whole paragraph that was repeated in the first paragraph is repeated again. It helps people accordingly. His vast knowledge always engaged unhindered in his vision of the three times. So that's the wisdom. Buddha's wisdom his wisdom is so appropriated for the benefit of sentient because he can see how appropriate it is now or future and so on. With such insight of this wisdom and the 6 conduct and 6 realizations and 3 activities, he is fearless. Yeah, he is fearless and turns the supreme great wheel of pure Dharma for migratory beings. So that's why Buddha is constantly turning the wheel of Dharma. No one is turning the wheel of Dharma. Please, don't mistake. It's only the Buddha who has set the wheel of Dharma in motion. We are just loudspeakers. we are just the what they call the apple that thing you put in the ear, you can listen. But actual sound is coming from the Buddha. Okay, nobody can produce any of this original sound that Buddha produced. So we must think like that. Then it's really very fair, Yeah, he turns the supreme great wheel of Dharma. Turns the wheel means he actually starts the engine and the vehicle moves, and everybody who follows the vehicle or hops into the vehicle, they get transported from misery to lack of misery, from darkness to light, from lack of light to light, and less light to more light, and selfishness to selflessness, grasping to non-grasping. So because his great wheel means he actually He actually makes the vehicle to move sentient beings. He doesn't let them people stay in the same stationary in the same place. He's transporting them, migratory beings. They are always migrating by going back to the same square one. They thought they moved from where to here to escape from somewhere, but they actually have the same ill will, resentment in the same way. They're always going round and round. Buddha, with quintessence of victory, possessed great compassion. Yeah, his purpose of doing all the above is activities is compassion. It's compassion. I mean, why we study in Dharma? Because we have compassion for ourselves, for our past, for our people who we misunderstand all the time. We react wrongly, we say the wrong things, we perform feelings a wrong way, and so therefore this is compassion. Yeah, so the Buddha with quintessence of victory possessed great compassion. So that's the activities of these 18 qualities. Now the analogy. The analogy, as you know, when we were talking about the 10 powers, they were said as analogously that they represent Vajra, and for fearlessness was a lion. Now the 18 distinctive characteristics are a space analogy. The nature of attributes, nature of these 18 attributes possessed by earth and so on is not those of the space. Now this is a very important analogy in saying that the attributes of earth is hard, yeah, and so on means water. Water is fluid. And fire is heat, and air is mobility. Yeah, these 4 characteristics are while distinctive characteristic to them. Yeah, but they are not those of the space. They're not similar to the quality of the space. Quality of the space, the unobstructive attributes of space. Yeah. Attributes of the space as the 5th element is unobstructive, but it is the one that occupies and supports all the other 4, isn't it? So therefore, the non-obstructive attributes, space and so on, are not those of form. Yeah, yeah. So there are many other characteristics of the space, you know. Space does not demarcate. Space does not demarcate. Space does not obstruct. All of these are not characteristic of the earth. Earth is very obstructive. Water is very. Water can do all kind of dangers, but space is not that. The sameness of the earth, water, fire, air, and space is in common in the world. Yeah. So, but they are nevertheless the distinctive characteristic of the earth, water, fire, and air, and space is in common. They are nevertheless how each of the 5 elements are intersected together. They have much in common. The unmixed features, meaning the distinctive characteristics of Buddha, have nothing in common in the world. So that means all of these 18 characteristics of the Buddha is not comparable to any ordinary people. Why? Not even a single atom. So that means there's no comparison between the earth, this glass with the space, for instance, because this only occupies a little bit of the space is far infinite. Likewise, no matter what characteristics ordinary people have, there's no comparison, even a single atom, to that of the Buddha's these 18 characteristics. So that concludes the first 32 qualities of freedom, the nature and the activities and analogy. So that completes the first 32 qualities of freedom. Now, the second is the 32 qualities of maturation. This is the qualities of maturation related to the distinctive 32 major marks of the Buddha. So these are what we call, firstly, we call them maturation, meaning quality of maturation means Buddha's, those 32 qualities of freedom because Buddha himself is free from all the antithesis of these 32 qualities, and therefore they are free from any of the faults. Because they're free from those faults, now they have the capacity to mature others. Because you can't clean something with dirty. Dirt can't be cleaned by dirty, So you have to have a quality that is devoid of the faults. So therefore qualities of Buddha matures sentient beings. If we are matured by, even when you receive empowerment, even you receive the teaching from as high teacher as His Holiness Dalai Lama, you feel so much benefited. It's actually through the prism of people like human great teachers like His Holiness Dalai Lama, but actually it's the Buddha's enlightened quality that is maturing you and me. We have to think like that. Otherwise, we think it's personifying that with ordinary human or even very special human beings. So we need to identify that these are qualities of maturation. So now we are going to go over these 32 symbolism of the 32 major marks. 32 major marks. These 32, I have put this third page in which gives the result of doing certain particular things. Result of particular qualities. Then you have these qualities. For instance, it talks about the souls are perfectly even and marked with wheels. So this is talking about Buddha's soles of his 2 feet are even, unlike ours. When we put the feet down, it's like there's a really funny shape, Whereas Buddha's footprint is completely even, and there's not a single part of the Buddha's soul that doesn't touch the ground, He lives completely, very precise footprint. What does that represent? That represents Buddha formally having made vow to practice generosity and all other virtues equally and equally and universally, without any discrimination. So Buddha practiced generosity to everyone, not impaired by any of the 32 impure generosity. So that's the symbolism of the footprint of Buddha. You go to Bodh Gaya, there is actually a big rock where they have the Buddha's footprint. They make a print of that and then take home with the cloth, the cloth footprint of the Buddha. So it's a symbol of the Buddha having perfected the first of the 6 paramitas. So that's the first one. And the second one is feet are broad and ankles are not protruded. Ankles are not protruded. Broad feet refer means Buddha never, Buddha never disregard or overlook or dismiss anybody. Buddha never dismiss anybody. It's very important, we should not dismiss anybody, no matter how much karmic, how much suffering, problems somebody have. It's the Bodhisattva's duty to not let them forgotten, but treat them with great care. So the not disregarding any sentient beings. Therefore, Buddha's foot is very broad, and it doesn't have this odd piece of bone protruding. When you put on the shoes, you can tell, Shoemakers have to make room for that odd piece of bone protruding, as a kind of deformation. Buddha's feet is completely well-rounded and not protruded, very even, like baby's feet like that. Did you know? Some baby's feet like that, Baby's feet is really like that. But when the baby slowly stop being baby, maybe like after 2 years on, then the bones start protruding. Not only is it smooth, but also very rounded. Buddha's feet is always smooth and never showing any sign of aging. Fingers and toes are long and are webbed, So that's Buddha has long fingers. The long fingers are because Buddha outreached to protect sentient beings. No matter what the sentient beings are difficult, he will go out and do anything. Like the tigress who was about to devour her 5 youngs. He will do anything to protect the 5 youngs and the hungry mother, all 5 of them. He will do anything. So that shows that the long-fingered people, long finger are considered to be sign of generosity because you're outreaching. What's the long finger for if you can't reach to benefit sentient beings? Maybe if you're a swimmer, you can reach there first. Maybe that's a. Did you notice? I was told that sometimes the world swimmers, they have this, fingernail lengthening technique, and when they're about to reach the wall, they just press it and touches the wall. I don't know. I'm just joking that one. What do you try to do? What do you try to achieve with long fingers if you can't benefit sentient beings? Buddha has long fingers and webbed fingers. The webbed finger means Buddha never let anything that people give to him wasted. So like if you have a webbed finger, people give anything, you will not drop anything between fingers. So whatever you give to Buddha, it will never go wasted. And that's what it says in the recollection of the qualities, the triple gem, means that the holy Sangha is worthy of gift, they call it, because they will not go wasted. The Buddha, of course, completely perfected, Yeah, and Buddha never caused schism, division between people. So one of the another meaning of the webbed finger is it always brings together. He never makes things turn one against other. He doesn't do that. He never speaks harmful things against each other. Because of that, his fingers are webbed. Fingers are webbed, and then his skin is soft and flesh elegant and youthful. So this means the tender skin is because in his past life he has given lots of gift of clothing to the people. He doesn't keep too much clothing for himself, full of wardrobes, 30, 40 jackets and 30 shoes and 200 dresses, not like that. Buddha always gives them to those who don't have anything to wear. I remember when we were in the refugee camps, all this second-hand clothing comes from the West. Maybe Smith family give them. And we're all waiting, queuing up in the school playground. They will open this big bundle of clothing. This is all second-hand from somewhere country like Germany or whatever. Oh, you wouldn't believe. These people will take accept any clothing, second-hand clothing, no matter what color, what size, they always take them. Even if they don't fit, they cut and patch and they use it because they couldn't. Also, giving second-hand clothing to the Smith family or the charitable things and not buying too much that one doesn't need is a good practice. So soft skin and flesh, elegant and youthful means Buddha has given lots of act of giving clothing, clothing to people who are cold, sometimes that's real. Instead of offering all these lamps, making lots of oil, burning lots of oil, but all the people in the streets are cold, and what's the point? Sure, it's culturally some people want to offer lamps, but practically you should buy clothes and give to the half a dozen beggars who have nothing to wear. I think these Buddhists have a lot of cultural transformation to do. People are burning lots of lamps. Oh gosh. They have barely enough butter to put onto the bread, but and then the poor in the streets have nothing to eat or nothing to wear. So Buddhists should practice not the lopsided kind of thing. So Buddha never, waste anything. So that's his, skin is soft and elegant, youthful, tender skin is because he practiced giving clothing, giving clothing. giving clothing to sentient beings. 7 parts his body are elevated. This means Buddha's body, the 7 parts, the Buddha's like his two hands, 2 legs, and 2 shoulders, and the nap. These seven parts of the body are elevated, very, 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 very kind of elevated parts. That is the result of Buddha having practiced giving food to the people. It's always good to check whether others got the food before you eat yourself. Always, even if you have the other doesn't have, just divide the plate you have into half and give to somebody. Really good karma. And not that we have to do that because there's a shortage of food, because that's run out of in the fridge or not in the kitchen. You can get more, but in the meantime, we have only for 8 people. In the West, that happens all the we only cooked for 6 people. Oh, you brought 2 more. It's a disaster. Yeah, it's a disaster. You brought 2 more friends. Yeah. No, even you cook just for 6, divide it for enough for say 8. Very good. People think there's some kind of particular portion that should, then they say, sorry, you never told me you were coming. Like that, one should be happily offer one's share into half or something like that. Buddha did that kind of practice in his lives, by practicing the giving of food and drinks. So therefore, all 7 parts of body, his legs and his hands, his shoulders and his nap, all elevated, very, very elegant, very, very elegant, elegant. Calves are like those of an antelope. So this means Buddha's calves are calves of his feet are very very well built and well rounded. Well-rounded, and where it's meant to be a little bit go thinner, it's lean, but it's not kind of a slim thin, beautiful thin. These days people try to look very slim, but look awful. I'm almost like a skeleton. It's not that kind of. Buddha's body is, whichever part of Buddha's body you look, it just gives blessings. Darshan. People get liberation. By looking at the Buddha's body, it gives them liberation through beholding. It blesses their eyes. That's why people go to the Buddha image, bow down, they touch their head to the Buddha statue or the throne, they offer kathas, they put flowers, they put money, all of that. Means they just, this is an actual statue, but may I be able to actually bear witness to the actual fully enlightened Buddha with all these 32 marks, enlightened one. So in this way, the Buddha's the calves of his feet, represent upholding the Dharma. The result of upholding the Dharma. It's very, to uphold the Dharma, you have to be consistent. You got to be committed. You don't pick and choose days of the weeks and how many days I cannot do that kind of upholding Dharma. You got to be round the clock. They say you should be the guard. They're always making sure the Dharma is guarded. Whether it's a study, whether it's your prayer, whether it's your meditation, whether it's your practicing, promoting that to others or not. Buddha's calves is well rounded because he's always never failed to uphold the Dharma. So those are the first seven excellent qualities, largely to do with Buddha's feet and limbs. Can you see that? The first 7 are all to do with his hands and limbs and skin. And now his genital is hidden like elephant. So this the concealed genital of the Buddha refers to his having observed the actual vows. Whatever, not only celibacy as a physical vow, sexual vows, but he has observed those things that are secret. Those things that are meant to be kept secret, that's not meant to be for the immature person. Talk about emptiness. Buddha never said emptiness in the first sermon. No. He said there's suffering, there's a cause, there's a path. He kept the secret. He didn't talk about the emptiness in the first sermon. He knows exactly when to tell, when not to tell. So this, therefore, hidden genital represent the Buddha knows exactly what is appropriate to reveal, what is not appropriate to reveal. And so the other people prematurely think, oh, I know the emptiness, I realize emptiness, they just blow it away. They just blow it away. And, so if you realize emptiness, you don't tell people that I realize emptiness. You actually teach them basics. You teach them basics like refuge and things like that. And you just know who to teach what, who not to who you should not teach. Not because you're trying to be protecting or possessing and being trying to hide away teaching, but what is appropriate and what is not should be revealed. So Buddha is able to maintain his secrecy. So that's the number 8. And then torso is like that of a lion. Now it comes to the Buddha's shoulder, Buddha's shoulder. The Buddha's shoulder is this lion's shoulder. The lion, if you look at the lion, the shoulder is very broad, vast. That means Buddha has accomplished many array of virtues, not just one or two. Vast array of virtues. Buddha has accomplished all kinds of things, all kinds of knowledge, all kinds of fields of knowledge, all kinds of activities. Buddha has completed. So therefore his broadness shoulder, broadness shoulder means that he has vast experience, knowledge, and proficiency in all those virtues, and therefore it's very much dignified like a lion. So we're talking about that's why when the statues are made in the monasteries, the artisans have to really make the statues according to the correct proportions. So the more carefully you make the proportions, for to indicate what the Buddha's face and Buddha's eyes and Buddha's legs looks like, So those people who haven't studied these 32 major marks of Buddha, they just make the Buddha looks good, and some people make them like a big tummy Buddha. They think that's a Buddha, and they have no clue of the 32 major marks. Where would have an obese Buddha? This obese Buddha in some East Asian countries, they put this big bellied Buddha as they think that is a Buddha. That's not Buddha. They think it's Maitreya or something. Maybe they're allowed to visualize like that, but they have no idea what Buddha should be visualized. Buddha should have 32 major marks. That's why the statues are not made randomly. So therefore, Tibetan statues are made and trained by meticulous proportions, not for just artistic purpose, just so that the statue becomes becomes depiction of the 32 major marks, such as these very vast, broad shoulders, like that of the lion. Clavicles are seamlessly filled. So this means that Buddha's upper arms has no kind of holes or no sort of grooves. It's all even, or are filled. The reason for that is Buddha observing pure virtue. All the time, Buddha has observed all the virtues, not just in person, not just because people are there, not because today is holiday, not because many people are coming. No, all the time, whether it's holy day or special day or with our people or without people, he observed all the practices and precepts without any hypocrisy. These are the distinctive qualities of Buddha. Ordinary sentient being is full of hypocrisy. Until they perfect all the virtues, they will have hypocrisy. Just question is how much. It's to expect no one to have hypocrisy in worldly sentient beings is just idealistic. It's not possible. So we shouldn't be disappointed. This world of samsara is full of hypocrisy. Buddha is the only one who has no hypocrisy, whether in front of people or in the company of people. Buddha is the only one who has these amazing qualities. His shoulders are perfectly curved and the beautiful. This allaying fears of others. So this represents Buddha had always allayed fears. We give blackmails. We keep threatening to each other. Buddha always tried to allay the fears of others and of themselves, and try to go outreach the benefit of sentient beings in order to allay their fear. Allay means remove their fears instead of giving fears. So frightening other people is terrible karma. Giving threat, blackmails. If you don't do this, I won't do this. That kind of thing. Buddha never do that. Buddha actually says you should do this. Give them encouragement, give them enticement, give them appeasement. This is the enlightened ones, because of generosity. They always try to change some sentient beings skillfully. They're never using threat or fear or kind of blackmailing. Of course, that's why blackmailing is a very, 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 very heavy karma. Of course, that's why the qualities of Buddha are very beautiful. Buddha's body is very beautiful, and hands and arms are rounded, soft, and even. So this means Buddha's hands and arms are very rounded, whether it's fingers, whether it's skin, or all his hands is very, very rounded, and not some parts very, and not the kind of ordinary. That means delightful in restoring hope. People who feel very low, very despairing, very discouraged, Buddha able to restore, delightful in restoring their hope. No matter how dejected and depressed someone is, Buddha is able to console them, is able to do that delightfully, not condescendingly, not reprimanding them and then try to help them. Very skillful. No matter how much a wrong somebody has committed, Buddha is able to use most delightful way to restore help. You can see some people are like that. They're amazing. They're amazing kind. And also our mothers are like that. Usually when mothers try to restore, make the child not cry, stop, they really do that. Mothers usually do best to their children when they are like that. But when we cannot do that to anybody else, but only to my dear child. Only on some good mood, Sometimes some people put the boy in the room and lock the door and she just disappears. Yeah, put in the sin bin. No, Buddha will be delightfully reading books, telling stories, restoring hope, and giving cards, singing nursery rhymes, and doing all sorts of things to help childlike sentient beings. So Buddha never make the person who feel hopeless to treat it like hopelessly. He restores them. And that's why Buddha's beautiful arms. Buddha's beautiful arms, Buddha's handprints. People touch the Buddha's hand, and so it has a blessed energy, hands around it. So that's the 259. And with long arms, and so the long arms of Buddha, because long arms of Buddha is to serve others, long arm is to serve other sentient beings, Long arm is to serve other sentient beings, particularly the sick, for the sick medicine. For the lonely, you give company. For those who misunderstood, you give them encouragement. So Buddha is always, those who are late, he will stay behind them. Those who are sort of lagging behind, he will stay behind them like a shepherd. So this is exactly the long arm, service others, and willing to stay back. Willing to stay back then the hour that you were committed to. That's the exact giving. Not giving when you are convenient, and not giving because you otherwise could not. You give up what you have other things to do and do that for the sake of others. This is emulating Buddha's examples. So giving only when it's convenient is not a giving. Giving, going out of your convenience, going out of your comfort zone, that is exactly what is the long arms for, service of others. Like the firefighters. They fight the fire, they come to aid of people anytime, any hour, wherever, whenever. I think there's always this amazing, the volunteer. Why people like the firefighters and volunteers so much? Because they really are emulating some of such selfless service of sentient beings. Like Buddhas are perfection, who have perfected this. And we try to emulate such examples, long arms, 13th one. Long arms. Immaculate body radiate an aureole of light. So this is number 14. Buddha's body is constantly beautiful and immaculate, and always radiating light, love, compassion, doing whatever physically, verbally, mentally, because Buddha has perfected the 10 virtues. 3 virtues of the body, 4 virtues of the speech, 4 virtues of the mind. That means abstention from killing and so on, and telling lie and so on, and getting rid of a wrong view and so on. So physically, verbally, and mentally, one who practices the 10 virtues, 10 virtues, slowly, immaculate body. Immaculate, beautiful body are not accident, Beautiful body are result of good karma. Of course, Buddha's body, Rupakaya, this is talking about Rupakaya. We're talking about the 32 major marks is only possessed by Rupakaya. The Rupakaya are in 2 forms, the Nirmanakaya and Sambhogakaya. These 32 are possessed by both Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya possess these 32 marks. Sambhogakaya only put the crown and some jewelries, but actually it is very Nirmanakaya form on which the Sambhogakaya element is added. So therefore, in terms of the 32 major marks, both Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya has no distinction. They're both equal. And number 15, unblemished neck resembles a conch shell. So that's number 15 means Buddha's neck is like a conch-shaped neck. This is of course giving gift of medicine, giving the gift of medicine to sentient beings. Giving medicine, very important. If you give clothes good, if you give drink good, if you give clothes good, better even you give medicine. Buddha gave the medicine that is medicine of all medicine, the Dharma. Of course. But here means that in the past he practiced giving medicine. Those who don't have medicine, they buy the medicine, they give discount to the medicine. It's amazing. This is government doing that in Australia, New Zealand, in some Western countries. The government is very much Buddha qualities. Amazing. And I was told in America that how much it costs for the medicine, and there is no cover, no Medicare covers, unless you have some particular card or something. But in Australia, everybody with Medicare, all the medicine covered. So we must be very grateful. Gift of medicine. Medicine is very, very expensive. Not easy to afford by everyone. So number 15, unblemished neck resemble the conch, giving medicine. Yeah, giving medicine. Of course, giving medicine doesn't medicine, but giving whatever heals thing, right words, kind words, whatever kind looks, whatever skillful things heals sufferings. And the cheeks are those like those of the king of animals, the lions. So this refers to the wholesome deeds. Buddha activities are always complete, always completely appropriate to ripen sentient beings. The 40 teeth are equal. The Buddha has 40 teeth. None of us have 40 teeth. We have barely 36, Even those are moving and dropping. His Holiness Dalai Lama recently said a couple of days, he's showing all his teeth. He says, I'm 87, but all my teeth still here. You can see His Holiness is amazing. His presence has many of these qualities. No doubt about that. So his 40 teeth are equal. The 40 teeth represents that the Buddha's thought is equal. Like his teeth are very, very even. It's not some big, some small, not like that. They are not only even, they're very well in line, and not some thick, some protruding out, not like that. Means Buddha's treatment to sentient beings are equal. To all sentient beings, Buddha treat them practicing equality. See? He says, practicing equality. Why are the 32 major marks? You can say what the 32 major marks are, but doing what? Why did the Buddha get 40 teeth? Maybe we don't have enough room for our mouth. We got too much negative words coming out of the mouth, but not enough teeth to bite the truth, to digest the truth. Buddha's got 40 even teeth. And because symbol of practicing, 20 upper teeth, 20 lower teeth, are all equal. And Buddha is always harmonious, always can mediate people who are fighting. Through his presence, even the warring parties drop their fights. Even the warring parties of Bengal and Bihar in the old days, Buddha goes and sits between the warring parties. He totally dropped their fights, and both of them signed a treaty and made friends. And then he made them to build a stupa of reconciliation in Rajgir. So Buddha has amazing stature. By his presence, all the people even fighting just drops. They forget the fighting, Buddha's qualities, the qualities, incredible. You cannot imagine. 40 teeth equal, and they're supremely pure, mostly beautifully set. Yeah, they're beautifully set because they're promoting harmony. Buddha's always promoting harmony. So why beautiful teeth? Why people want to have white teeth and bright and smile if they cannot promote harmony? So therefore, Buddha's beautiful teeth that doesn't drop, that doesn't decay, that always remain. That's why when Buddha passed away, each of his teeth become a relic. The whole Sri Lanka has one single teeth in candy, and that is the most precious thing they have. Why? Even a small relic of a Buddha's teeth, one teeth, let alone 40, is a complete relic in itself. They only reveal it once a year. Even that, not everybody can say. Most people are miles in the day. They just know it's being revealed on the day they worship. Why? Because each and every single particles of Buddha's body is a rupakaya, and not to mention all the 40 teeth, because he has caused so much conflict to become no conflict, so much disharmony to become no disharmony because of the Dharma. And a lot of people have made peace with their past, a lot of people have made peace with the other people through Dharma, So therefore, even our ability to heal with our past and other people are because of the maturation qualities of Buddha's enlightened body, enlightened activities, such as the 40 teeth that we are referring to. And and they are totally immaculate and aligned in even rows. So that's number 19. Number 19 refers to the white-eyed teeth. The white-eyed teeth is the wisdom tooth that people may call it, white-eyed teeth, and that is the guarding the three doors, guarding the physical door, verbal door, mental door, and always, therefore, saying and doing what is appropriate and benevolent for the others and others and others and others. His eyes, his eye teeth are excellent, bright white. So that's that. The tongue is long, unlimited, and inconceivable. So the 21st is the Buddha's tongue, long tongue. So the long tongue, speaking the truth, good taste, acting with kindness. So sense of taste is supreme. Buddha never tastes anything and say, I can't eat this. This is too sour. Take it away. Buddha's tongue tastes everything, same taste, supreme taste. So Buddha never wastes any offering. Whatever he eats, all has the supreme sense test. And voice is natural like Kalapinka's call and the melody of Brahma. This is talking about the Buddha's the right speech. Using tender words, kind words, and therefore his voice is so melodious. His tone, his sound, his choice of words is so good to the hearers. That's why, with us, I've heard they call it, anyone who hears it, they can't forget it. They're so meticulous, so appropriate, so worthy of remembering, so delightful to repeat many, many times. The more times they repeat, the better they are. That's why with the sutras, people read sutras as a verbal merit making, because they are all the words of the Buddha's realization of the spoken by the Buddha. And so that's why the qualities, yeah? And then 24, the pure eyes, his pure eyes like blue lotuses. So this is talking about Buddha's eyes are very, very like a bright blue lotuses. That means he always look kindly to sentient beings. When you look kindly to other sentient beings, you're blessed with good eyes. And we're not talking ordinary people's eyes. This is talking about the eyes of the wisdom of the Buddha. Eyes of wisdom of the Buddha. So now you can see the body is moving from the limbs to the main body, and the teeth and the tongue, and now moving to the eyes. Yeah, eyes and eyelashes. Eyelashes are dense, are those of an ox. So this refers to the Buddha's eyelashes are very, very thick and very blue, and this represents sincerity and honesty, with the stainless white urna hair embellishing the face. This is talking about in the middle of the brow, the white hair between the brow. This is the unique quality, this distinct quality. This is always praising the good. We don't want to praise somebody even though they deserve it. We don't want to praise. We are so hesitant to praise when they were praiseworthy. We're jealous, or we're competitive, or we don't give respect to them, or we don't want to. Buddha always praises to those who are worthy of praising, whatever they are. So therefore, this beautiful hair and the middle of the brow of the Buddha is a result of praising the good. Praising the good, because praising the good is not only encourages the person who do good, but also inspires other people. Someone speak kindly about other people is a merit, because when they speak generously to goodness of others, it inspires other people. And other people do not see those things until they hear those qualities. And then they look carefully and they say, yeah, thank you for that. And then they're starting to take notice. But if somebody does the opposite, disparages somebody, then it completely does the opposite. Ordinary deluded sentient being does the latter. they don't want to do the former. If somebody disparages somebody, and then they think that's him, and then you just turn to show out the rude eye, and you have no goodness to look at kindly. That's the ordinary deluded syndrome. But Buddha always praises. When somebody, I think, somebody, one of the arhats refused to ordain somebody, saying that they didn't have the merit or something. And Buddha said, "Oh, come on, don't do that. He has merit, He has merit to be worthy of ordination. Why? Because in his past life he did this. Nobody knew, but Buddha knew. So instead of denouncing the person for his mistakes or unsuitability in that particular life, Buddha said he has done this in the past, therefore he is worthy of ordination. Please don't refuse and ordain him." So everybody denounces and rejects, but Buddha praises the one who is misunderstood and put down by others, and actually do that. So these kind of qualities are symbolized by these qualities, praising the good qualities, white hair between the brows, and with stainless and with the Ujnisha crowns the head. This Ujnisha of the Buddha is the protuberance. The protuberance on the Buddha's protuberance is not the ordinary kind of pointy head, but it's just incredible. It's incredible protuberance, and that is because Buddha always honored his teacher. No matter where his teacher is, whatever happens to his teacher, he always, even when he got enlightened, he first thought of Alara and Uddaka. These are the two teachers who taught him Kama Body meditation. He first of going back to them to share his enlightenment. And so Buddha has done that, honoring his teacher unconditionally. Because of that, this out of 32, the protuberance over his crown is because he has a lot of humility and respect to his teacher. And so that kind of humility, that kind of virtue of respect means lack of pride, lack of selfishness, lack of arrogance. So these are the qualities. Skin is pure and delicate. The very pure skin of the Buddha. Pure skin of the Buddha. Of the subduing the mind, subduing the mind, and so there's no skin rashes. Skin is always pure and smooth and delicate, and of the color of gold. Color of gold means the golden color means giving bed and shelter. Giving bed to somebody, not saying, "Oh, there's no room. We only got 3 bedrooms," but people can sleep in the lounge. That's a big room. That's got a big double sofa and all. No. people say, no, nobody can. Only 3 bedrooms, only 3 people, type of thing. No. Always offer a bed. Always put on a single stretchable bed or air mattress or whatever, and offering this kind of, a lot of church do that. All those people, homeless people, they give them home. This is very good virtue. These are, these are kind of universal virtue of giving bed to the person who hasn't got a place to stay. And the Buddha would have done this many times in his past. So therefore, the golden color of his body coming from that, and extremely fine and soft body hair from each pore swirls upwards and clockwise. So every single hair of the Buddha is swirling clockwise and always upraised. When we look at our hair, they are not swirling; they're all going down and dangled down. Well, that's why we visualize all the deities' hair is upraised. Why we visualize deities upraised? Because they are symbolize growth and increase of positive qualities. So swirling body hair Buddha means because Buddha always followed instructions. He never questions and disobeyed any instructions of his teachers and any superiors. People say, why should I do this? Because you say so. No, I don't want to do that. No, I don't like that. Most people are exactly opposite. Very few people are willing to take instructions from their seniors, from their supervisors. That's a very heavy karma, very heavy. So being able to respect someone who has authority to give instructions, like supervisors or whatever, it's good to respect them. Then it really makes your job much easier, and also they feel they're also helping you. Otherwise, they feel disobeyed, disregarded, and then you never take notice of somebody else's, and then exact opposite. So Buddha has in his past, he's created a lot of karma of respecting and listening to others, and then this amazing mark of each single hair are not only swirling clockwise but also raising upwards. Beautiful. It's just look like the hair of the Buddha when you watch in the round ones. You can't really. No artists have ever shown Buddhas actually each of the hairs swirling and going round. No artist could show that. I'm sure that some of the modern artists, if you ask them to draw, maybe they can draw, but they need to study these texts very clearly, very carefully, so as to give real justice to that. Immaculate hair resembles deep blue gem. Yeah, well proportioned in physical. In physical sense. So this refers to Buddha's hair is blue color. Buddha's hair is always dark blue color. That's why you see all the Buddha images. The head hair is dark blue color. So that means abstention from aggression. Buddha always practiced non-violence, not just physical non-violence. Verbal non-violence, not just verbal non-violence, but attitudinally, no aggression, no ill will, no hard feeling towards against, no ill feeling towards anybody. Even they did terrible things against the Buddha or against someone, Buddha, and saying Buddha has still lots of kindness, lots of compassion. Compassion is the teaching. Aggression is not the practice. So the blue hair symbolizes immaculate purity. The sky is blue, isn't it? So pure, intrinsically, primordially pure. So the blue hair of the Buddha represent an abstention from aggression. When we have blue deities like Vajrapani blue deities, it looks like very aggressive, but it's actually a fierce compassion. It's not aggression. Some people look very misunderstand the wrathful deities. They think, oh, so frightening. Actually, they're trying to scare your ego. That's the whole thing. Scare your ego and to benefit and tame you exactly the way that it should be. So Buddha's body is well proportioned in physical stature, like a perfect Negroda tree. That's the 32. So Buddha's body is very tall. He's taller than anybody else. And teaching, that's because from his teaching meditation and helping the poor. So teaching meditation is a great virtue. If you know how to meditate, you should teach it to other people. So, it doesn't mean you are master of it, because you are a student of it. Because you are a student of meditation, therefore you are facilitating to other people. So there's a lot of merit, because someone who learned meditation from you, they will really, let's say, remember, I learned meditation from him. We have quite a lot of people in our community. They say, "Oh, I learned meditation from such and such," and who's that? Some of our community members. It's very good, and that's how they benefited. So teaching meditation, Buddha became enlightened with all these 32 qualities, particularly this tall physical stature, through teaching meditation. meditation is an amazing gift, because people who learn to meditate have a lot of behavioral transformation, a lot of attitudinal transformation, a lot of peace is made, a lot of wrong ways of life are transformed by learning to meditate, a lot of social problems are minimized, and that's why people are nowadays wanting to learn meditation. So therefore we should not hesitate. That's why we encourage everybody to teach few of your friends. You don't have to be teacher. Who is teacher? Real teacher is only Buddha. Only Buddha. Those people like me are student of the Buddha, ardent student of Buddha. You can't learn enough. You have to keep pretending as you can teach to others. Very good. Yeah. Some people are idealists. They say, oh, you have to be perfect meditator. You shouldn't have any faults. You have to have high realization to teach others. And then, I don't see any of that. We are only pretend teacher. The real teacher is the Buddha. I know one nun, she's so cute, Ani Koncho, up in Malambimbi. She says, I'm pretend nun, Rinpoche. She's really cute. She's really good, She's practicing, but she knows how many faults and karma she has behind her back. But she's, I'm a pretend nun. It's a good humility. We just pretend teachers. Real teacher is the Buddha, We are just mere form only. We just trying to follow some examples. We try to jump like monkey because we saw a monkey jump, but we couldn't jump as much as the monkey. We'll fall from one branch to another. So so try to teach others. You can teach to your brother. You can teach your patient. You can teach your girlfriends. You can teach your mother. You can say, look, Mom, I want to teach this. This I really find useful for me. Do you want to learn this? Like that, I've been doing that all the time, Recently, in the last 2-3 years during pandemic, I've been teaching these things to my family, and they say now, oh, you really become good for a brother, better brother than before. Because this time they learned something from the brother that Buddha taught, but they don't learn because they think it's some holy people can do and nobody else. They didn't know they can learn this from your friends. So we should learn to teach meditation. Not because your meditation is perfect, because your meditation is unsatisfactory. That's why you need to teach meditation. Because best way to learn is to teach others. Because when you learn to teach others, you have to prepare, you have to read. You wouldn't believe how many books my room has. I haven't read them all, but I'm still all there. With the willingness to read, they're all ready to be read. All the scriptures there. Why? Because we can never educate enough. We can never learn enough. Sakya Pandita says, even you're going to die tomorrow, learn something today. Because if you learn something today, then you will remember tomorrow, and then you can teach that to others. You can teach them how to pronounce Vajrasattva mantra to somebody who doesn't know how to Vajrasattva mantra, 6-syllable mantra. You can teach them the posture. You can teach the breathing. You can teach the refuge. And so you shouldn't say, oh, I'm not a teacher type of thing. Because if we do that, then we never, see, the tall physical stature of Buddha came from the merit of teaching, meditation, and helping the poor. Poor of what? Poor of not money, poor of knowledge, poor of discipline like meditation. They don't know how to meditate. I had a visitor the other day, a young Nepalese boy. He's a Hindu, but he says, oh, I heard you teach meditation. What is meditation? I don't want the Buddhist way, but what is really just a meditation? Because he's no intention of becoming Buddhist. He thought we make people become Buddhists, He got the wrong impression. I said, no, we don't teach people to become Buddhists. We teach people to become kind and good and thoughtful and true to themselves. Oh, he said, really? Oh, so Buddhism is not trying to promote Buddhism? I said, no. Buddhism doesn't need to be promoted. It's perfect. Buddhism doesn't need to be promoted. What a ridiculous thing to say. That you have to promote Buddhism. As Buddhism is danger of decaying and vanishing. No. We wanted to better the human being. So I said, meditation is distracting the distraction. He says, is that simple? I say, yes. So you can watch the breath, or you can do mantras, or you can use words, or you can do visualization, so that your distractible mind is distracted from that, and by focusing on this. So like that, you need to slowly learn to facilitate meditation to others. It's very important, So quite a lot of you are doing that anyway. So we know that. So thank you for all of you facilitating meditation, and not only teaching meditation, but others who are supporting, others who are organizing, others who are doing a lot of behind the scene work, and in terms of administration and all the technical and all the help people do. This is not promoting anyone. This is not promoting Buddhism. This is helping the sentient beings who have so much but who have so little, that are really useful. They're all distracted by those things. They're not getting the real thing they need in life. But when you teach them meditation, they will know how to reclaim their mind and their goodness, and eventually their Buddha nature. And of course, then this very liberative art of maturation, quality of maturation of the Buddha, of course, are then realized. So in this way, we have concluded the 32 major marks in this 9 verses. Yeah, there are 9 verses from the Uttaratantra Shastra, from 257 to 265 verses. These are the succinct description of the 32 major marks of the Buddha. And this description of these major marks of Buddha are requested by a girl called Ratna. She asked the Buddha, what are the symbolism of the Buddha's 32 major marks? And then Buddha explained, Buddha explained, so there is a whole sutra requested by Ratna. And Chogyal Pakpa, I discovered this in Chogyal Pakpa's collected writing. He has extracted that wrote in a very beautiful verses, much longer description than we have time to go over. So that's why I've extracted them in this 3rd page tonight, where it explains all the 32 major marks of the Buddha. They're not just mere kind of physical culture we're talking about. We're talking about the embodiment of Rupakaya, that every single atom of the Buddha, from the crown all the way to the toes, are worthy of veneration. Whether it is made in clay, whether it's made in jade, or woodwork, or paper mache, or whatever images are made, consecrated, we should put them high and always remember the infinite qualities of the Buddha, particularly these 10 powers, 4 fearlessness, and 18 distinctive characteristics, the qualities of freedom, and then these 32 qualities of maturation. So these 64 qualities are the subject of this particular Vajra point, the 6th Vajra point. So with this, we will conclude here tonight. Of course, we will be able to finish this chapter next week, because then it needs to it needs to talk about those qualities, and so then we will be able to move on to the 7th Vajra point. So only if we read like this, we think we comprehend. Of course, we're doing very well. But of course, these are just simply sampling the teachings and hearing them and having the attention and devotion to listen and reflect and think and meditate on them. And then next time when you meditate in front of Buddha or meditate the Buddha himself, then you are not just using as a walking stick to help you walk, but you're sitting in front of the Buddha. You imagine that as embodiment of all these virtues collected from 3 uncountable eons, and whose Rupakaya has ripened, is ripening many people now, has ripened many Mahasiddhas and Panditas, Arhats and Bodhisattvas. Without those Arhats, in the first 300 years, there is no greatness of Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna and the 17 Panditas are only 2nd century onwards, okay? But Buddha passed away 400 years before Christ. So what happened the 600 years? The 600 years gap before Nagarjuna even appeared were all filled by the Arhats, Sarvakas, and Pratyeka Buddhas, and all the Nikaya schools. They were completely Theravada practitioners. And we cannot exclude our Arhats and the Sarvaka Arhats, the 16 Arhats, or the many pantheons of every tradition, not just the Arhats of those contemporary to the Buddha, you know. Arhats after the Buddha. Buddha passed away. After Buddha passed away, and then we have the Mahakashyapa, and then Ananda, and then Shanavasin, Upagupta. Upagupta is the Arhat that tamed the ruthless Kala Ashoka, the ruthless, King Ashoka, who was violent and who harmed the whole India so much so that he got disgusted and he was subdued by none other than Upagupta. Upagupta is the 4th patriarch, 4th Arhat after the Buddha. Where does Tibetan Buddhists talk about the Arhats? Why they are not talking about it? And they have shortage of memory or whatever. Their Dharma history, list them. But why we skip? Why we skip those Arhats? We shouldn't. Because between the Buddha and Nagarjuna, that's 600 years. That's quite a long lost of memory. So, therefore, while it is very important to honor the luminaries of Mahayana authors like even say Asanga, even Asanga is 4th century. 4th century. That's like 800 years after Buddha passed away. So where did Asanga get all the teachings? Asanga was raised in Takshila. Takshila is Western Pakistan. Present Western Pakistan. That's where thriving Buddhist community in those 4th century. He was the son of the nun. Remember, one of the 3 sons of the nun who deliberately disrobed herself in order to produce Buddhist sons who uphold the Dharma. That's amazing sacrifice that she made. So her own vow as a nun, she did so in order to produce sons who will uphold the Dharma. The upholder of Dharma were Theravada Arhats. Only later on he turned to Mahayana. His brother was, Asanga Vasubandhu was purely Theravada. Even the writings of Vasubandhu that we honor as Abhidharma Kosha, is basically very Theravada. The actual Abhidharma Kosha is not a Mahayana text. It talks about the cosmology and psychology and various things, but still it's a textually and as author, but he's not featured very well in the Theravada because he switched from being Theravada to Mahayana. So we tend to remember those who became Mahayana only, but we tend to forget or not mention about the Theravadas. What kind of Buddha lineage is that? No, We cannot afford to do that. His Holiness Dalai Lama's message is that this is one world. We must honor the other lineages, other traditions, other religious tradition, or not, even those who don't have faith. So it's really important for the Tibetan Buddhists to not have this righteousness saying we are Mahayanists, but we are disciples. His Holiness Dalai Lama says we are disciples. He says to the Theravadins, he says to the Chinese Mahasangas, whenever he says, we Tibetans are junior. Theravadins and Chinese Mahayanas are seniors. He said that all the time, His Holiness' view is immaculately correct. But most people don't fathom. They think we are Mahayanas, we are Vajrayanas. Among the Vajrayanas, we are the purest. Or ours is this. We think they think they follow the Vinaya very well as the Vajrayanas. But where does their Vinaya come from? If it wasn't Theravada, give me a break. Yeah, if it wasn't the Theravada, where would any of the Vinaya would preserve? No, not at all. Even the Vinaya that Tibetan Buddhism has is quite questioned by the Theravadins because they don't really look like real Vinaya, according to them. Fair enough. Fair enough, I must say. Fair enough, because we have cut corners quite a lot, made a lot of never. I remember, later I was a novice monk for a number of years, and we never taught even to give up afternoon meal, evening meal. We never were introduced even, never were even taught one day. Only when we went to 3-year retreat, I read the text and there's ideally you should really. So then me and Lama Wangdu, two of me, said, look, let's give up the dinner. Not much to sacrifice anyway. It's just a thin soup with a few potatoes. So there wasn't much to. Then we said, oh, let's try not to have dinner, and as a mark of respect to the actual Vinaya. But even that we did all by ourselves. But there actually no imposition, no saying we should do this because we ordained and so on. Because that the Mahayanas have nothing to be Maha if it doesn't got a leg, if it's got no foundation. So in the Vajra Tantra, it is the highest Vajrayana Tantra. It says, without relying on the foundation of Pratimoksha, Theravada, there is no Mahayana, let alone Vajrayana. So therefore, historically, we should talk not only of the virtue of the Buddha, but then who carried the banner, torch of the Dharma, for those 400 years before Nagarjuna emerged as the triumphant teacher in Nalanda. Where did Nagarjuna didn't parachute, did he? Nagarjuna has his own teacher, and his teacher has his own teacher. So if you go like that, according to the Zen, they actually have about 26 patriarchs, before, what's his name? Bodhidharma, Bodhidharma. And that's fair. They at least seems to have the Chinese are much more organized historically in terms of making sure that nobody's missed out or forgotten, They actually have 26 patriarchs up to Bodhidharma, That's quite good, So when we start from Nagarjuna, Nagarjuna is number one. And then from then, if you list all the 17 Nalanda Panditas, it comes all the way until 8th century, Shantarakshita and Shantideva and so on, Atisha and so on. Okay, so you covered between 2nd century till 8th century. So it's only 6th century. That's the Nalanda Panditas. How about the gap between the Buddha, 400 BC till 200 AD? How about that 600 years? Who filled the gap? Who held the position of Dharma? Did it all the teachings were buried under the Naga realm and was never manifesting in the world? That kind of story, legend. Do you want to believe that? Do you want to tell that again? I don't want. Because I don't believe those such legendary stories. We have to be rationalists. So what I'm saying is, while we remember the qualities of Buddha's 32 major marks, we have to remember these were all kept by faithful arhats and ascetic monks and arhats in our Theravada Nikaya schools before they made a positive influence to many places. Like, sure, there was split between the Theravada and Mahayanas whenever it occurred. But they split from where? Split from what? From Theravada, from the 18 Nikaya schools. Mahasangikas are one of the 18 Nikayas from which Mahayana stem from. So therefore Mahayana actually came from Theravada Yana. Because when we talk about three Yana in the old tradition, they don't talk about Vajrayana. They talk about Shravaka Yana, Pratyeka Buddha Yana, and Mahayana. Yeah. And the third one does not come from itself. It comes from the second. Second one comes from the first. So that's why the importance to honor the arhats, or the stream enterers, or one's returner or non-returners, are very, very important. Very, very important. And we could not remember these 32 major marks. Why did all of a sudden... Look, this is mentioned in the sutra requested by the lady, Ratna. Is that what is taught by Maitreya? Come on, give me another break. Is that taught by Maitreya? No, it is taught by the Buddha to the girl called Ratna. So the sources of these teachings are none other than Shakyamuni Buddha. So how could the very contents of the teachings of the Uttaratantra Shastra be ascribable to future Buddha, who has not even come yet? Such legends and avadhanas has their place in traditional Buddhist accounts, but when we are learning Dharma in 21st century, we need to be, I would say, fair-minded towards the whole Buddhist history as one unit of the Buddha Dharma, and not sort of demarcating Theravada, Mahayana, and then even within the Mahayana, we are the Prasangika Madhya Mahayana, others are Chitramatra, and all this kind of dialectical demarcation and dissection has no room for doing this. So we need to honor the Buddha, only the teacher, and then the disciples with honorable qualities of arhats. They may not be like the Buddha, but they are the small Buddhas. The Bodhisattvas are middle Buddhas, and the Buddha himself is the big Buddha. That's Chandrakirti says that very clearly, So our Indian masters, Mahasiddhas, are very, very respectful for the Theravadas. But as the history of the Buddha Dharma goes into 21st century, our memory should not relapse, but we should reclaim our lost memory and try to holistically see the whole Buddha Dharma as a dint of the Rupakaya of the Shakyamuni Buddha, coming down through the Sravakayanas, Pratyeka Buddha, Theravada tradition, and then through the luminaries of Nalanda Panditas. Of course, Nalanda Panditas. Now, if you go to Nalanda, there is no Nalanda, there's only ruins. And then, of course, the history of that is very truly kept in Tibetan and Theravada and Mahayana and Zen and Chinese Mahayana. I mean, if you look at Chinese Buddhist history, incredible history. They were as early as Nagarjuna. They received Buddhism almost at the same time as Nagarjuna. And His Holiness, the reason to call the Mahayanas as our teachers is because they're senior. They had Buddhism. Tibetan king married Chinese princess, not because the princess was special, because she was a Buddhist girl. She was a Buddhist princess. And also he married a Nepalese princess, not because she was a special Nepalese girl, but because she's a Buddhist princess. So these two girls, this matrimonial relationship with a Chinese Buddhist girl and a Nepalese Buddhist girl, greatly instrumental to bring Buddhism to Tibet. So therefore, where is Tibetan Buddhism without these foreigners? No, Tibet's very impassable. It's inaccessible. Even today, it's very difficult. In those days, geographically very hard to reach. That's why Buddhism didn't make to Tibet until 7th century. Because it was so far away. So the further the Buddhism goes in down history, the more further it sometimes loses the truth of this history. And people can start to remember the most history that are told and forgot the story they never heard of. So we need to listen and learn more about the arhats and their contribution, and learn the Theravada history and the Dharma they have kept, because their devotion to the Buddha, even a small relic, where they show to the Buddha relic, is none other than Rupakaya. They definitely see every single atom of the Buddha body as they may not use the concept Rupakaya or Dharmakaya or that. They may use that, but they still use the Buddha Rupa. Buddha Rupa they call it. Buddha Rupa means form of the Buddha. What form is that? The physical form is Rupakaya. Yeah, which form? Nirmanakaya, excellent Nirmanakaya. They all call the Buddha Bodhisattva who became enlightened. Yeah. So therefore, every single particle of the Buddha body and the remnants of after cremation became our contents of all the 8 stupas they built. All the 8 stupas are honoring the in the form of stupas, but actually honoring the remains of the Buddha's body and the mind. And of course, mind is mind is depicted as a stupa, but actually is the body of the Buddha, which matured us. Which everybody who met the Buddha, everybody who heard the Buddha, and then they become matured and ripened. So that's why the 32 qualities are called the quality of maturation or ripener of not so ripened sentient beings who are otherwise pretty raw. So we all need to be cooked. We all need to be cooked. Okay, thank you, everybody. Now, that's all we have time for. Thank you. Let's do the dedication merits by getting exposed and remembering the qualities of the Buddha's 64 qualities. Freedom and maturation has lots of merit. And next time when we look at the Buddha image and pay our respect, we actually have not just treat it as a statue, but actually as if we are right in the presence of the full Rupakaya. And our hair paws hairs will stand on end, and devotion is indescribable, can be felt. You can never do the prostration same way as before next time, because you now know how to bring the fullest devotion, that you know what the Buddha Rupa Kaya represent. This will, of course, ripen us. This will also mature us. How to be reverent and respectful and to the Buddha images, construction of it, maintaining of it, making daily offerings, not just as a chore, but do them as if you're really in the presence of the Buddha. And so, therefore, it doesn't mean the size of the Buddha should be big. Size might be small, Size might be material, might be maybe fiberglass, but still, you must show that due respect, and then it will mature us. It will change our behaviors. It will ripen us. It will change our behavior in the room, in the presence of the mind, which actually acknowledges the presence of the holy Buddha Rupas. So thank you, everybody. Let's do the dedication of merits. Choedak Mahayana courage maturation Asanga Vajra de Lama follow the Zamba Ashahade de Ode Mede Salam Bodhi Cheda Teba Verana Yadaza Verha Bo Maya Jengre Frele Veda Jana. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Take care. Thank you, everyone.